Hello and welcome back. Let's have a conversation today about gratitude and miracles and lots of very good stuff. Yeah. This is a topic of conversation that my wife Cindy has proposed, and it's timely here. This video is being recorded on the 2nd of November, 2023. In this assortment of numbers and labels that we refer to as the Gregorian calendar. November, what's that? November the 2nd, what's that? What's 2023? Oh, again, what's that? These are all ideas, and we have pulled them out of thin air. We could have based this calendrical system on a different start date. It could be based on any start date. You could start a calendrical system of your own based on yesterday as year zero, if you wanted to. My point in all of this is when you begin to perceive the emptiness of this world, interesting things begin to happen, and they're very cool. Perhaps you've had many such experiences because I know that many of you have been practicing this material for decades. And then that's not to mention all of your other experience on the spiritual path. So perhaps you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you begin to see, glimpse by glimpse, that this world is a complete fabrication, interesting things will happen in your experience. Let's go back to gratitude, because you can be very grateful for those and any experiences that you have. You could even, should you so choose, be grateful for what we deem to be painful experiences in life. Those are opportunities for us to forgive. Anything that's not wholly joyous is, in fact, an opportunity for forgiveness. So what's the special significance of November? Well, nothing, because November is just a term that we made up. But here in the world of social media, in this thing that we call 2023, we're very interestingly situated, so it appears, here in the world, because we have access to this very technology, the same one that enables me to broadcast to all of you, wherever you happen to find yourself in the world. And whenever you happen to listen to your inner teacher's guidance to tune in and watch the video from start to finish. Just saying. Here in this world that we've fashioned, something very interesting and very important is going on. Here in the month of November, many people commonly post on their social media thread things that they're thankful for or grateful for. Those of you who are not in the United States may or may not be aware that in the United States, we have a holiday, the fourth Thursday of November every year, which we entitle Thanksgiving. And well, it involves football games and time and a half of work if you have to work and things like that, and elaborate feasts and family gatherings and all of that stuff. There is a practice here of gratitude every day in November, which of course should not be limited to just November. Because here in this made up calendrical system of ours, that's only one out of 12 things that we refer to as months. So it's incomplete. Gratitude should be constant. which begs a really excellent question. Gratitude for what? How about for life itself? I'm not simply referring to the life of the physical body, which only passes for our lives. It is not who you are. You are not a body. Again, you are not a body. You know this. Doesn't mean that we all act like we know this, but deep down we do. If you didn't, you would not be interested in this video because there's a lot of other content out there that you could be watching, yet something has pulled you into this. Yes, I invite you to stick around. Perhaps I've already said what really resonates with you, and perhaps it's yet to come. So in that instance, especially, I invite you to stay with us. Gratitude for life itself. In a recent video, we spent significant time on the idea that God gives himself. You, as the Son of God, as God's creation, as the extension of God. I mean, call it whatever you want to call it. Like extends like. God extends himself. Life extends life. Love extends love. God extends himself. Life extends life. So our ability to know God, our ability to wake up from the dream, is entirely dependent on our willingness to give as he gives. And what better place to do this from than from a standpoint of gratitude, from a standpoint of heartfelt, really heartfelt and profound gratitude for life itself, for your creation. How about that for some depth to a gratitude practice or an idea, an attitude that is grateful? Because we can certainly be grateful that we have enough money in our checking account to meet the obligation of this bill, this next bill that's due. Yeah, of course, not a problem. Gratitude for our physical health. Yeah, no problem. For a nice meal, for a hot, sexy bottle of wine, and then someone to share it with. I mean, just saying, for example. We can be grateful for things here in the world, sure. Let's go beyond all of that, because this course is nothing less than a complete 180 in your thought system. It's a turning it right side up, because I promise you, it is upside down. When you see yourself as an individual human being, that is not seeing things as they are. And you do know this, or you would not be interested in spirituality. Because there are plenty of other things that you could do to occupy your time. Yet you're contemplating the very nature of everything, which is exactly what you should be doing. Well played. Well played indeed. Welcome. Gratitude for life itself. So, from this standpoint, what can you do? A lot. Everything, actually. From a standpoint of gratitude, when you think about your own experience, when you're truly grateful, how do you feel? I'll bet you can see that it radiates from you. You're extending love. When it seeps uncontrollably out of your pores, so to speak, when it doesn't because you're not a body, but You get the image. When you're extending it, that's a great place to give the miracle of love, to give the miracle of life, to give the miracle of true forgiveness to your brother from a standpoint of being grateful for everything. Because let me tell you something, your creation by God is everything. You may have heard me say, and if you've watched several videos here, you have definitely heard me say that God is. And there's a pause after that. What is implicit in that two-word, two-syllable, simple statement is that only God is. Only life is. Only love is. There is no separation of any kind. So this experience that we appear to be having, and yes, deliberate emphasis on appear to be having, all of this is simply a dream. This can be a very helpful learning tool and a very helpful metaphor to, well, to play around with here on the path. Think about when we're dreaming at night, when we're asleep, we do things, we fly, we encounter beings that may or may not have ever existed at any point, at any time. We see strange things. We taste and touch and feel and hear strange things. We interact with people in ways that we've never interacted with them before, or it might be really familiar and it might alternate between the two in a weird and bizarre and highly unusual sequence that seems really real to us. All of the images appear real. All of the thoughts appear real. All of the predicaments that we seem to find ourselves in seem real and frustrating, or even scary. And we wake up and boom, they're gone. It's instantly a situation where we recognize that they're gone. Those appearances that once seemed so real were never there. These appearances that seem so real were never there. Not here. Pixelated image on your screen. When something lands for you, it's your inner teacher speaking to you. So gratitude can help us immensely here where this feels real, where we've taken it to be our home. And in fact, it is not our home. It is a limitation because there appear to be 8 billion other separate ones, plus separate, countless, separate other life forms. We appear to be separate from one another in these artificial devices called space and time. And when we talked about time with the randomness of the Gregorian calendar, and that applies to any calendrical system that's ever been made by human beings. All of them are completely made up and fabricated. It is what it is. So not saying don't buy a calendar. We've got one. We've got one hanging in our hallway, and it's a calendar of Europe. And November's picture is a picture of the Louvre, and it's really pretty, and it makes me want to go to Paris for a long time. But you see the point behind all of this. We've made the world, we can unmake it. And to have a profound sense of gratitude, not just in November, but all the time for your own creation, is a great platform from which to go forth and extend the miracle of true forgiveness to the Son of God. It is. So I invite you to take this message to heart and practice it. That's the point of all of these videos, because that's where we really learn. I mean, intellectual knowledge of the material in this course is important, sure. I mean, it is. It's helpful, but it's far from the end-all, be-all. The overwhelming majority, the vast majority of our learning comes in our practical application. That's how we learn this course. I mean, you can read it all you want, but you've got to put it into practice. You've got to do the forgiveness homework, if you prefer to think of it that way, to learn your forgiveness lessons. You've got to do the practice periods in the workbook. You've got to get in contact with your inner teacher. You've got to extend love to the Son of God. Even if all you can do right now is smile at somebody, that could make somebody's day, couldn't it? You never know the power and the breadth and the reach of something that seems so small. So small, in fact, that it might not even be worth your time. Oh, it's worth your time. Big time. Never doubt that. It's our practical experience that counts. This is how we learn that these ideas are true, by putting them into practice. Our experience, as we do it, shows us. We effectively prove these ideas to ourselves. That's the way that we learn. So I invite you to go forth and do that. And should you have any questions, please feel welcome to leave them right here. And we've had a number of really, really excellent discussions here on YouTube. There's no question that's too basic. There is no question that's too beginner-ish or amateur or whatever. In fact, if you have one of those, ask, because someone that's been practicing this material for 30 years will benefit from your asking what seems to be the most basic and simple question. Those are the ones that we need to hear over and over and over again, because you never know when the day will come when, boom, somebody, maybe you, gets it, and eventually you will. You want to know why? We've never left our source. Capital S. So I thank you, as always, for joining me. I'd love to have you subscribe, by the way, if you have not already. Thank you to all of you who have recently done so. There have been a number of you, and it's a pleasure to have you here. What you'll get are several videos each week related to the text of A Course in Miracles, where we just present these ideas as they are, because you deserve nothing less. We complicate our lives endlessly and needlessly. So let's just contemplate the Course itself and what it says and what it means. There is no separation of any kind, and you are one with God. This is the subscription button. We'd love to have you join us. Go ahead and click or hover over that. You'll be prompted to join us. Please do so. We'd love to have you, and I'll see you again very soon.